My name's Paul Church from Clarity Craft here in the UK. Welcome to another episode of Groovi Tuesday. Lovely to have your company. I know it'll take a while for our friends to join us this morning. I can see we've got the lovely Karen from Shoreham over on our YouTube page. So good morning, Karen. Sunny in Shoreham. And it's lovely and sunny here in Edenbridge in Kent. A little bit fresh this morning, but the sun is out, so hopefully that's a good sign. Good morning, Mo. Yes, the lovely Sue will be joining us very soon. Clarity Sue, she's back from a week's break, looking fully refreshed and lovely as always. Good morning, Carol. There we go. Everybody's coming in now. Come on, pull up a chair, grab yourself a drink. We've got Helen, we've got Sharon, good morning, we've got Bernie. There we go. All the regular faces coming in. And there's Mr. Ken. There we go. Once Ken's in the room, I know we're all good to go. So Nahid, it's lovely to have everybody's company again. That should be my message from Sue. Sue says, all is good. Thank you very much, Sue. So I should have changed the batteries. So I looked at it earlier and it was on 3 bars. And now all of a sudden it has dropped. So just bear with me for a moment. Typical. Happened to Barb the other day when she was on. It was fine. It was on 3 bars and then it dropped. So let me I will go silent at the beginning. So just bear with me for a moment. There we go. Hopefully you can hear me. Sue, could you give me the all clear again, please, to let me know that the sound is all back up and running? I'm sure it is. I've got full signal. That was really strange because it was on 3 bars. And then all of a sudden it dropped to 1 and started flashing. So hopefully you can hear me. I can see that the little monitor thing to the side is going up and down. That should be another all clear from Sue. Perfect. Thank you very much, Sue. There we go. Super duper. That was a very good start. It's weird. I normally put it on 5 minutes or so before because there's a transmitter and receiver and it said they were fine. And then as soon as I started talking, it just went bing, straight down and started flashing. There we go. Right, super. Everyone's coming in. Good morning, good morning. What's our lovely weather forecast from around the globe today? I see we have the lovely Humberta from the States in. We've got Jenny from Australia. Josie from up north. So, thank you. We've got Ruth from the US. Good. I'm guessing it's early morning in the US. Ruth, whereabouts in the US are you from? Are you new to the Groovi Tuesday party? There we go. Mo said it's sunny in Ripon, sunshine in Morden, South London. Dina from Somerset. I love it. It's like a full weather forecast. You don't need to watch the weather forecast on TV. Just come into, there we go, Glynis. We've got Jayne. Brighton, sunny, Milton Keynes. Yeah, you don't need to watch the weather forecast. You just need to come into Groovi Tuesday for worldwide weather. So, yeah, from Alabama, it's raining and it's 5 a.m. Goodness me. So lovely to have everybody's company. We've got Clive in the room. A little bit late today, Clive. Normally first over on YouTube. It must be that bright glow in the sky. It must have distracted you this morning. So there we go. Oh, it's not good in Cornwall. It's raining. Oh, goodness. I think we're meant to be forecast some rain, so I would just make the most of it while the sun is in the sky. So I hope everybody's well. We are continuing our journey using Jayne's Floral A4 sampler plate, and we've been looking at white work over the past few weeks. And we've been using the ball tools, and we've now been using the new back in stock shader tools. So yeah, we're definitely putting those through their paces. So we've got lots to share with you again this week. I've got my list to one side. Now I do have one question to ask. Last Tuesday was a long time ago. There's been lots going in since last Tuesday. I wrote on my notes last year, feels like last week, light panel next week. But I can't remember why I was going to introduce you to the light panel. But I know my friends in the room will remember. I can't remember. It was just on there, and I thought, right, okay, I'll put it on the list. But I can't remember why, and I'm sure it'll come to me with your help. So we've been looking at Jayne's lovely sampler, and this is great for all levels of to do the fourth dahlia. Thank you, Pat. Yes, it's all coming back to me now, as Celine Dion would say. Where is my dahlia? There it is, it's hiding. Yeah, that's it. Perfect. Check rewind. I didn't have time to check rewind because I knew my friends that would remember. So it saved me a little bit of time. It was, yeah, perfect. Thank you. Okay, so this plate is perfect for whatever level of groovy parching you're at, because not only is it exquisite artwork from the lovely Jayne Nestorenko, but it's perfect for practicing your different skill sets if you wish to. Whether you want to look at colouring, the white work, etc., etc. And I took my inspiration from this piece of artwork created by Karen Jackson using the dahlia, and we've been taking it through the very sort of stages of white work. And next week, what we're going to do, we're going to move from white work to colouring. Okay, and we're going to look at using the Pergolina pencils, the Pergocolor pens, and the Dorso crayons. So we're going to look at, we'll do different configurations, just like we've done with the lovely dahlia, where we've taken it in 4 different settings. So using the number 1, the number 2, the number 3, and the number 4. That's exactly why we needed the light panel, but it just didn't come to me. It really didn't. But I knew my friends would be there to help me this morning. So yeah, so we're going to continue this journey this morning with the shader tools. We will bring in the light panel as well to have a look at this. Now, did any of our good friends watch the Groovi headliner last week using Linda's It's a Wrap collection? Because what I did was I created a beautiful, well, I wasn't beautiful, I sort of did a step-by-step, didn't I, on one of the flowers, and it was using the various different sort of, in the same process as what we're doing here in Groovi Tuesday, where we went 1, 2, 3, 4, and then this was one level of the shadow embossing, 2, 3, and we were slowly sort of building it up. So it's the same principle. If I get a piece of black card to pop underneath there, I bring it in on this camera so we can, where are we going? Let's take a bigger piece of card, shall we? There we go. So this is using one of the flowers from Linda's It's a Wrap. Now just pop it on the overhead so you can see that. I'm going to grab that lovely piece of artwork to show where I was heading for this project. And it was the shader tools proved really popular on TV, and I know many of our friends in Groovi Tuesday also have taken advantage, not taken advantage, have invested in the shader tools. Oh, I need to speak to Pete to get something for this floor so the chair moves. So this is where I took my inspiration from. So if I'm going to pop that on there like so. Okay. And I'll tell you what, let's do it the easy way. Let's zoom in. Let's clear the debris from the table like so. And let's zoom in. Which way am I going? Stretch, come in, come in. Okay. So this was the piece of artwork that lovely Linda Williams. Oh, this chair. All it needs is a mat underneath so that the wheels flow. I'm going to write that on my list. Let me do that now. Pete, mat for chair. I'm sure we've got one in the office somewhere. Okay, that remind me at the end. You know what my memory's like. Can't remember last week. So this was the lovely, exquisite wrap from Linda Williams. And there's no way I would have been able to have replicated that on TV over the 3 hours. I could have just kept with one piece over the 3 hours, but it wouldn't have been very entertaining, so to speak. So then what we're going to do is, this was my thing, and for me this was using the shader tools. So this was 1 layer, 2 layer, 3 layer and 4 layer, and it's actually had 5 layers on it now because I had a bit of a play this morning. So it was all about sort of gradually building up to create this type of effect. And then what Linda's done, she's introduced some colour on the back as well to enhance it. And if I turn that at an angle, you can see that I took this flower here, and it's that flower, and I just took part of it there to work on. Okay, so let's have a look. What is our lovely friends in the room saying? So I've missed all the conversation flyby. So Glynis is saying, what you can do with the faint one is to trace over the line art with a white pencil on the front if it's coloured parchment, as it doesn't matter with plain parchment. That's a very good tip. Thank you, Glynis. So what Glynis is saying for this one here, which is very faint, I could take a white pencil on the front, and then when I'm working, I'll be able to see it a lot more clearly. Okay. So this is where I took my inspiration from, and for me, the shader tools really sort of made a difference when it came to working to create this effect. So, but I'd already been working ahead of getting the shader tools back in stock. So we established last week as well, if you're unsure which shader tool you already had in your collection. Okay. And I left the display board up at TV because the lovely Jayne will be back on your screens next week for the Pergamano show. But we established that the width of the, let's call it a paper clip, on the larger one was 5mm, the medium was 4mm, and the small one, which had been discontinued by Pergamano, was 3mm, 3mm. So that was a good way that if you were able to measure, you could work out which ones you had in your stash already. Okay. And you could say, well, why do I need 3 different sizes? Well, as I found out when I was working on my piece of artwork, there's certain areas that the larger one can't get into. Okay. So it's perfect for same with the ball tools. You've got the 6mm, you've got the 4.5, you've got the 3, you've got the 1.5, you've got the Groovi tools. So it's all about sort of using the tools to get into the space that you need to work on. Okay, so show. we were looking at this one here, and I've already established that I used the 1.2, which was the larger one, twice. Okay. And we can definitely see this, the ones at the top, I was concentrating on using the ball tools. Now, if I turn this over and we look at the front, you can definitely see the different layers or the levels of brightness. Okay. But as I said last week, thank you for very kindly reminding me, was that with this one, now I can see that, I mean, I'm going to put my glasses on. Okay. Goggles on. Oh, that's better. All a bit wonky. I can see this, but I know when I start to work with it, the lines will start to sort of fade. So this is where the light panel really will come into play. Okay, so for today's session, I'm going to be using a little sampler we've created. Okay, I'm going to use my pink matte, and I'm also going to introduce the light panel. Now, the light panel isn't essential, but it definitely makes a difference. Okay, now I've got super bright studio lights in this room, so that helps when I'm working. But I know for our friends at home, you can see, well, you can't, or maybe you can't see, but it is very, very faint. Okay. And I totally agree with all the comments that are coming up in the chat that Jayne is a fantastic teacher, and she's really been missed on TV. So looking forward to seeing Jayne back in the saddle, showing us some fantastic hints and tips and technique. I've seen the 2 projects that Jayne's created, absolutely beautiful, and some brand new plates as well. So that's all I'm going to say. I may give you a sneaky peek next Tuesday of what's coming up, but that's next Tuesday. Okay, right, so let's have a look. Right, and breathe. So let's have a look at the light panel. Now we do a light panel in 2 sizes. Okay, I'm going to go for the larger one because it's a bigger area to work on. So it's a micro USB connection. Okay, and it has 3 levels of brightness. 1, 2, and 3. Ooh, ghostly. Okay, and then the 4th goes off. Okay, so depending on the environment in which you're working, it comes with a translucent foam, which is our A4. This is our skinny foam. Okay, and you also get a lovely, if you go for the bundle, you also get a lovely case to keep everything in as well. Okay, now also on my light panel, what I have is a piece of, let's have a look. I'm going to put it on the overhead, but you're not going to see. It's just, no, I'll just do it on this side. What I have on here is one of the A4 sheets of Groovi grip. Okay, it helps just protect the light panel, help protect, but also if you're using plates, it stops your plates from sliding around as well. Oh, why does that keep going off? Is it just me, or does that keep flicking on and off? Okay, we'll have to keep an eye on that. Hopefully you're still with me. Anybody there? Sue, can you let me know if everybody's still there? My screen keeps going black. Those gremlins are definitely in the room today. It's happening there too. Okay, you're there. Very strange. Still with me? Yes, it's fine. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, all good still. Okay, right. Those little gremlins. Look, maybe I need to give Sue a little Christmas gremlin back, and then things will be good. Okay. A bit jumpy. Okay. Excuse me. Right, well, fingers crossed. Right, goggles on, light panel in position. Now, one of the great things with the light panel and the pink mat is that you can see through the pink mat. Okay, light panel shouldn't have done anything. It's in a separate plug, so no, let's have a look. Okay, so I'm going to go on the overhead now, and all you can see is pink. Okay, there's my hand, and if I go 1, 2, 3, okay, so it's great because it illuminates through pink mat. Okay, now if you don't have the pink mat and you have the white foam that comes with it, then what you can do, you can still use that, and I would suggest putting a cello bag on top, okay, because that will act as a little bit of resistance. So if I show you the difference, let's go half and half. Okay, so you can see now I've got, see, it's a little bit difficult for you to see with that, with the lights. Okay, and where's my piece of artwork? So if I pop that on there, I can definitely see it better, but it's a little bit harder for you to see at home. Okay, and but if I bring that in, can you see that? I'm going to zoom in really, really closely. Okay. Is it me? Pink mat looks purple to me. It's a pinky purple. It's a pinky purple. Let's have a pinky purple. I think we just call it the pink mat because it's nearer to pink than purple. Purple. Okay. Should we have a vote? Let's have a discussion on pink or purple. It's cerise. There we go. And cerise is a pink, isn't it? Cerise isn't purple. Okay. Right. I'm going to zoom in really close on these two now. Okay. And zoom in. Which way am I going? I'm going to come this way. I'm going to come in. So I'm going to see how close I can get in to that. Pink or purple, purpley pink. Yeah, there we go. Pink when lit up. Okay, so I'm going to take my Groovi card. You can't see it. Can you see this one? I'm guessing you can't see that one. Pinky and perky. We're definitely perky in the Groovi room today, aren't we? Okay, so I'll wait for the front. Can you see the one on the left? Very faint. Okay. Yes, yes. I suppose it depends on how you're watching, doesn't it? If you're watching on a tablet or whether you're watching it on a TV. All right, so what we'll do then, okay, what am I going to do? What am I going to do, he says. Right, I am going to, I know what I'm going to do. This will work, hopefully. If I take a black piece of card and bring that in onto there, we can see that, can't we? Can we see that better? Because the black card underneath, how about that? Let that settle and see what we think. Bit better. Yeah, I mean, I was struggling to see it at all. So, okay. Right. Let's get going, shall we? Okay. I need a slurp of coffee after this. Hang on a mo. Right. Just about. So I don't know if I come in any closer, I may lose the focus. I tell you what, to make it easier for everybody at home, I'm going to do away with the light panel. But if I was doing this at home, I would definitely be using the light panel. So I can take that card, or not the card makes any difference underneath. Okay, and if I go here, I'm going to see how far I can zoom in now before it goes out of focus. Although maybe out of focus might be better. There we go. This chair. Needs to do a workout just with the chair. Okay. So we know that this is very, very faint because we've traced out using the number 4 tool. Okay. I'm going to put the fan on. I'm having a tropical moment. There's no windows in this room. And all this exercise getting up and down. Right. Okay. Oh, that's better. Right. Okay. Right. Let's have a go, shall we? So let's concentrate on this area here. And remember, what we're going to do is we're going to take a pencil and we're going to put a little asterisk here to show this is where we're starting. Okay. Right. And we're going to start with the shader tools. Now, we established last week which way to do our shading, didn't we? That we was going to go in the spoon position and we're going to stroke towards ourselves. Okay, so I'm going to turn the work round so it's more comfortable for me. And what we're going to do now is slowly, very lightly, put a base coat down on this particular one. And what we're going to do, I'm going to give this another wipe with the tumble dry sheet, like so. And then we're going to slowly work our way round. So we're starting at the top and we're just gently flicking. I'm sure there's probably some proper term for it, but we'll call it flicking. Flicking towards ourselves. Okay. Ooh, so it's just fallen over. Those gremlins are definitely out and about today. And we're just, so this is going to be sort of like our undercoat. Okay. We're just gently teasing the fibers of the parchment. And you'll notice that I'm turning it around as I work. And we're just concentrating on the larger of the petals. We're not going to go right in to the center because the 1.2 is definitely too big a tool for that area. Okay. And I think what Glynis said last week is that the one of the benefits of the shader tool is that you can cover larger areas more quickly. So I am using the 1.2. I'm using the largest of the 3 tools. Okay. And we're just putting a nice light underlay down. Because I've come so close, I just need to make sure that when I spin round, I hope that fan noise isn't too annoying. It will just help circulate some of the hot air in the room. Okay. So as I say, next week, what we're going to do, we're going to look at colouring. Okay, so your homework, so to speak, for next week is to continue with your white work journey. And then we're going to start again. I think I'm going to stick with the dahlia because it's a nice one to practice the colouring in as well. And dahlias come in all lovely colours. So it'll be perfect for having a play with colour. Okay. Has anyone been doing this last week, over the past few weeks? Or have you already perfected your white work skills? Okay. So now, if I turn that over, hopefully you can see we've got a very faint underlay of white work. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my pencil again, just as my reference, wherever I've put the pencil. I put it back, didn't I? Come on, Mr. Pencil, where have you gone? There it is. So I'm going to come over here, I'm going to put 1.2 mil, and I've done one layer. So now I'm going to go back over to this one, and I'm going to go down to the next one down, which is the 1 mil. And I've got my little crushed spider, as you're all referring to it as. And we're now going to put a layer of white work using the 1 mil. So it's the same principle as before, light flicking, but we're trying to not to get complete coverage. We're trying to sort of stay away from where the petal joins the next petal, if that makes sense, to create sort of like a shadow underneath. So it's short, gentle strokes, like so. Again, I'm repeating that process of turning my work whilst I work. It's definitely a lot easier to do that. Where am I going? Keep it there. Okay. Definitely need to use my guard. Let me just spin it around once more. Still too big of a tool to go into those smaller areas, but that's fine. Turn it around. So what else have I got to tell you this week? So I love those happy hippies that you did in the shack yesterday. Who was in the shack yesterday with Barb? I'm sure many of you were. Those happy hippies, they look fantastic. Can't wait to see what colour Barb goes for. Why have I got dead flies under the dahlias? Isn't that where all dead flies live, underneath the dahlias in the garden? They were just slowly building up the... Yes, it was fun, wasn't it, in the shack yesterday with the hippie camper van. So I can't wait to see what colours Barb decides to come up with on that. Then, yeah, so that was yesterday. And she showed everybody that new knife. And I'm going to show you the new knife as well. Very sad, I know, but I do love a craft knife. Okay, and I prefer a smaller blade over a larger blade. And I had one for many, many, many years, and I lost it. And I tried to get some replacements, and but nothing really sort of satisfied my need for a craft knife. I know, Sado. But when I saw Bob had it in a craft box the other week, and I said, "Oh, this is nice. Where did you get that?" She went, "Oh, they're on the way." She said, "Dave has found them." I said, "Oh," I said, "It's lovely." So we'll give it a little spin. We'll take it for a little spin. Oh, stop. See, like I'm getting carried away now because I'm talking and I've covered up my dead spider. Okay, so that, if I take my little note, so this is my 1 mil. So I've done 1 layer of my 1 mil. Okay. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to go back over to this one. Now I reckon and 0.8 mil. I know I should leave it a little bit longer, but for the sake of Groovi Tuesday, I will sacrifice my art. Okay, so I'm now going to go on with the 1 over the top. Okay, you can definitely see the difference there. And we're just gently teasing the parchment, like so. Okay. Staying. See, if I was at home, I would definitely have the light panel. That would definitely help. My glasses are very good. They're very focused. But for our friends at home, okay. What's Mr. Ken say? I love a good craft knife. The lovely Mel Turner advised me to always use a sharp blade. The new one looks very good. Have I ordered one? I'm not going to reveal your secrets, Ken. Not at all. Not going to reveal anybody's secrets. But I know one person ordered 2. If I had just found them, I'd be ordering 2. 1 to put to one side, and 1 to use. You can never have too many craft knives. You can never have too many groovy plates. So what's Maggie saying? Her favourite craft is one that you put over your index finger. Yes, I remember those ones. I could never get the hang of those. No, it wasn't. Mrs. Kilminster, Ken didn't buy 2. It was one of our other lovely groovers. See, I'm getting everyone into trouble. It's normally Glynis I get into trouble. But I'm not saying anything, Glynis. Okay, so just putting another. So what I love about this new, well, there's so many different things I love about this new craft knife. Okay, one is the size of the blade. Okay, I'd say I do like a small blade. A sharp blade is obviously always very good. And you get 10 blades. You get 2 different types of blades in here. I was really surprised. and it wasn't until Barb was showing, because I only saw the craft knife when it was in Barb's stash. I didn't realise that it came with 10 blades, and it comes with 2 different types. You get 5 of each. Okay, and it has protective cover as well, which I found is useful for something else as well. How do you dispose of used blades? Okay, I can't remember where I bought it, but I bought, it's a Swan Norton device. I'm sure there's other devices out there. It's a little plastic box that I put my craft blades in there. Okay, and then they're secure. Or the other option is what you can do. I'll show you in a moment. But the other option, the blades come in a lovely plastic container. So I would put my used ones in there until I finish with all of them, and then dispose of the plastic, wrap up really seal the plastic box. Okay, so now this one, I forgot what I'm doing now. So this one that's had 3 layers, this one's had 2 layers. Okay. So we can see now, so I need to put a little pencil mark. Okay, questions are coming in. Spare blades, okay, right. Goodness me, you haven't even got the knife in your possession yet and you're asking about replacement blades. I reckon that these blades, because they're Japanese top quality blades, I reckon they will last a very long time. So we are looking, Mr. Dave is looking in to source it, or not sourcing, to finding out about replacement blades. But you don't need to worry about those yet. We will get them. But you're probably looking, I don't know, 6 months to a year before you even consider replacing the blades. Okay, so let me share with you. Let's put this to one side to rest. Okay, so let me come back on the overheads as my focus so I can zoom out. Okay, zoom out. I'm just reading the comments as I'm stretching. Okay, right, I reckon let's come out a little bit more. Look at these, I love these. The different shades of white work. See, and for me, this would be my sort of, I'd keep this and then have a look at what I used, how I used it, how many layers I put on. And I know I asked the question the other week, how many layers of white work do many of you do at home? And the response generally was that however many layers it requires. Okay. I think, yeah, I agree with Sue. I think it's sort of those stages, isn't it, of maybe I should have gone that way to get the layer, but hey, I can darken that one and leave that one as it is. Right, okay. My new toy. Oh, I need to zoom out even more. I thought I'd zoomed out enough. Okay. Right. So you get a lovely storage container. I'm going to come out to that. So you get a lovely storage container which contains 5 of the blades which are at a 30-degree angle, and then you get 5 blades which are at a 45-degree angle. And there's various different reasons for using the blades at different angles. So what I would do, these are obviously open because I've opened them to put into my knife. I would put my dead ones over here and then just put a piece of low-tack tape over them so that I don't get them mixed up, and then just keep putting the blunt ones under there. But as I say, I mean, I don't know whether you can take them to your doctor's or someone that's a sharpie, but I would just keep them in here until they're all completely blunt, and then when I'm finished, I would seal that up like that, tape it all up, and then dispose of it. Now, this knife, okay, I know, it's sad, isn't it? It is so light, okay. I love the cap that it has on top because it doesn't roll, okay. It's nice, it's got that nice sort of grip to pull it off. So, like some knives, when you pull off, well, it's a sharp blade inside, isn't it? Okay, and you've got this lovely, super fine, sharp blade. Okay, so it's lightweight and it just feels, you've got sort of silicone around there. Okay, and it is just so comfortable to hold. And I mean, the design, it's quite fun. I know, I'm getting so sad, but what I found out also is that with the lid, because I'm thinking, well, I'm going to put the lid down, I'm going to lose the lid. The lid has a hole in it. So when you put it on the end of your craft knife, it's held in place. Okay. I know. How can anyone get excited over a craft knife? Seriously? I've always loved a craft knife. I suppose it goes back to when I first started crafting. I used to do decoupage, and before all the die cut decoupage came about, you had to cut it out. Now some people use like scissors, but for me, then it was a knife. Okay, and I just loved. I mean, let me just show you. So this is our 3.5 by 3.5 cardstock. Okay, watch. Now, sometimes when you're using, especially if you're cutting through cards, you can hold some people hold like the knife at an angle, but it automatically makes you hold the blade in sort of like an upright position. But what you get is a beautifully smooth finish. Okay. Really beautiful. Sometimes when you're using a craft knife, you can get sort of like, I don't know, it's not a burring, but it can splay the card. Okay, so when I was playing with this, so this, I mean, this is really thick cardstock. I think it's 300 GSM. But look, the precision is beautiful. Okay, now I was having a little bit of a play earlier. Don't play with knives. Okay, but I was having a play with the knife earlier. Now, a good thing I'd suggest, another good thing, if you've got an old craft mat, then keep this for your cutting, because I've cut into this when I was cutting earlier, because it's such it's such a great blade on it. Okay, and so I would keep a craft mat just for cutting, because where I've cut into the mat, if I was trying to put parchment on and doing colouring, then it can transfer to the parchment, the texture of it. Maggie, can we try using the new craft knife at the open days, please? It is a type of tool which is very personal to find one that suits you. Well, if you ask nicely, Maggie, I may let you have a go at my one. Okay. But no, I totally get what you're saying, because a craft knife, like scissors, I like a nice comfortable pair of scissors, so I do get that. Okay, so let's go back. So what I did was I took that same dahlia. Let me zoom in on the overhead. On the overhead? On the overhead. Okay, now I cut this out. Which one am I going? With the craft knife. Normally, I would have done this with scissors, but okay, I'm going to bring it. I don't want to go. This has been cut out with the craft knife. Okay, I even got into that tiny little space in between the petal. Lillian says she just bought a chainsaw. Okay. So for me, to get that type of precision around there with a pair of scissors, I would really struggle. I mean, again, we're talking about tools of choice. Now, for me, I prefer a larger pair of scissors over a smaller pair of scissors. Okay. So when you're working with this, I could obviously have pico cut around the dahlia, but I wanted a nice, crisp, clean look. And to get within the spaces in between those petals was crazy. So for example, I mean, everyone, again, will have different ways of cutting out. This is my practice piece we've been working on. So what I tend to do, if I was going to cut this petal out, okay, come over here. So I'm going to take the blade and I'm going to press in, and then I'm just very gently swiveling as I come round to that point. Okay, now I'm not going to go round and go in that way. What I tend to do is I would do all of them in the same direction first. It's just personal choice, what works for you. Okay, so we're going to do that, and then what I'm going to do, because I want to be able to see where that line is, I'm now going to go from that point and come back into this point. And I'm just using my finger. I mean, another great tool would be the Groovi guard. If you're not so sure, is you could use your Groovi guard to hold your parchment in place whilst you're working. But for me, so if I now lift that away, if I just, I'm thinking, what is he on? So now I've got that lovely crisp cut. Okay. So for me, that really shows the quality of a knife. One, to have that lovely small delicate blade, and two, to be able to, especially with parchment, say parchment is delicate but robust, and cutting out with scissors, I probably, for me personally, wouldn't get as close to that white line as I would with a pair of scissors. Okay, so that's one good thing about this particular knife. Then, for example, if we look at the pieces, remember where I drew some boxes out? Okay, so I'm going to zoom back out now. Let me just zoom out. Ooh, there we go. So, which angle blade am I using? I am using the 30-degree blade. Okay, because that's one that Bob put in yesterday. But you can use, I'm sure there's different reasons for using, I know there'll be different types of cuts. Okay, so you can see there, if you have a look, the blade can only go in one direction. Sometimes when you get like a cross in there, it goes in two different ways. So if I open up the other blades, look, they will come individually. I need a knife to open the packet. Oh, dearie me. Okay, let's just open this, and we'll take one of those blades out, like so. Oh, let's just take them all out. Okay. This is where the parchment could turn red. No, it won't. It won't. Okay. Easy to change the blade. That goes in like so. Hang on. Do it so you can see it, Paul. just open it up a little bit more, like so. Come on, do it nicely. Have I done it up? Probably should read the instructions. Okay, let me just put, there we go. Just needed to open it up a bit more. And then, okay, that is nice and secure. So now I've got a nice blade. Okay. Look at that. So crisp. So this is our piece of artwork. I'm going to put that blade over there. And maybe you want to just trim it down. Okay. Ken didn't buy two. Honestly, it wasn't Ken that bought two, but he may go back and buy another one. Okay. Because you can never have too many craftmen. So for me, now the next game changer is the Groovi grip and the Pergamano ruler. Okay. Game changer when it comes to using a craft knife on anything. Okay. So I've got, it's still parchment related. We're still working with parchment. I hope I haven't lost any of our friends in the room. Groovi grip was something that Barbara found, okay, because I did a demonstration on TV with a ruler and a craft knife to trim down my artwork because I wasn't at the pico cutting stage yet. And as I brought the knife towards me, the ruler slipped and it cut into my artwork. Okay, not a good look on live TV. So this is where the Groovi grip really comes into play. Take the Groovi grip off, my ruler slides around. And this is just a sliver of, you get 2 A4 sheets. Okay. Pop it on there. Parchment moves, but the ruler's not moving. Okay. Steel edge ruler. So what we can do now, see, one of the other advantages of the Pergamano ruler is the grid work on there. Because what I can do, I can line up the pink line on my white line art. Then I can take this one here and line it up on that one to make sure that I'm at the correct right angle. Okay. Now, as I've said before, Jayne said she nearly ordered two. I'll tell you, if anybody places an order during Groovi Tuesday, when you get to checkout or as a result of watching Groovi, just put in the comment Groovi Tuesday or GT or Paul told me to buy it. Okay, I'm always get the blame for that. Paul told me I needed it. So there's no rules to say that you have to cut anything with the first pass of the knife. Okay, it's the same when we're working with Groovi. There's no rules to say that we need to get that crisp white line with the first pass of the tool. So we're going to take that blade and we've got the steel edge down here. Okay, and we're going to go against that steel edge like so. And now we have a beautiful crisp line. I'm going to turn round. So for your matting and layering, this ruler, it also has that advantage because you can use those lines to create a frame of any width. Okay. Pat said she can't order because I've already just ordered it. Oh, Pat, naughty. It's just only out of interest, just to see if, well, I know people are watching. So I'm using the pink lines. And this is something that Barb taught me back in the day by using the lines on the ruler for my positioning. One of the other things also is when you're the craft knife I used to use had a slightly thicker blade. And when I was cutting parchment, I used to get sort of like a splaying. Okay. But what I find by using this is that I don't. I get that lovely, crisp. Glynis says she keeps buying the Groovi grip and it keeps disappearing. It's either gone into the black hole of Pete's shed, or if I searched hobby room, I would find it there. I know. I remember we had an email from a customer that the customer had taken it out of the packaging and put it on the side to use it, and her husband came in and just thought it was a piece of paper and threw it away. Oh, I love this. Jayne's just ordered it. Jayne. I know this is so sad that I'm getting excited. I've waited so long for a decent replacement craft knife. I can't tell you. And I've tried lots of different craft knives over the years, but look how professional that is. And the crispness of that cut. Seriously, I was just saying it. I know when I've been on TV and I've cut with a craft knife, or the one that I had previously, and I'd cut one. For me, the blade was too big, but I definitely used to get like not a resist, but there was an edge to it. It wasn't smooth, and I would always put a new blade in before I went up to TV, because that's what you do. So I always use a new tumble dry sheet. So because it's just what I do. So for me, this knife like this is just beautiful. So I'm going to go back to the other blade. Okay, so we're just going to undo that. So it's nice and ergonomic, got a lovely grip around the outside. And we're going to carefully remove that one. I'm going to carefully pick up that blade, pop that one back in like so, and then just tighten it up. And there we are, we're good to go again. So I can't believe it's 11 o'clock. What else have I got to tell you? I'm gonna have to quickly fly through my list now. I got so carried away with that knife. Okay, so we looked at the light panel. We remembered, the royal we remembered why we needed the light panel. Shader tools, we've established the different widths of them to work out which one. I keep looking at the clock rather than the camera, apologies. You probably think, what's he looking at? Because I'm conscious of the time. So we looked at the shader tools, we looked at the new toy, the craft knife, the ruler with the Groovi grip, we've looked at that. Back in the shack with Barb on Thursday evening at 7 p.m, continuing your groovy hippie bus journey. It's a camper van, isn't it? There. Then on Sunday, Barb's on TV, the first Sunday of the month, 3 till 5. I'm sure she may give you a sneaky peek on Thursday evening if you all behave. What else have I got on the list? Oh, don't forget, we've got the open day ticket. If you want to have a come and try my knife, then come and see me at the open days, if we've still got any left, because they do take a long time to come in. But yeah, you're more than welcome to have a hold of my craft knife and see what you think. Thank you as always for Sue for helping out, popping up all the links, the fantastic design team in the room as well. Right, I'm off to go and have a lie down, I think. No, I'm going to go and make another coffee. That one hasn't gone cold. I've got my note for Pete to order a mat for the chair so it slides more smoothly. And I will see you all again next Tuesday for another episode. We're going to do colouring next week. Sue, remind me, let me write it on here. Colouring. Otherwise, I will forget. Take care. Enjoy the rest of the week. If it's sunny, maybe sit in the garden and do some grooving. So I will see you all again next week. Take care now. Bye bye.